If you are an ambitious person, you have probably felt it, that feeling that there's got to be more to life than sitting behind a computer screen for 40 to 45 hours a week, working for someone else's dream and trading away years of your life just so that you can look back one day and realize, what was it all for? This was exactly what was going through my head this past year, and for the last few years actually, before I decided to leave corporate and pursue entrepreneurship and self-employment at 25 years old. I wanted to make a video today about why ambitious people are not cut out for a 9-to-5, or why a 9-to-5 actually destroys ambition and kills creativity. The first reason I believe ambitious people aren't really meant for a corporate environment is strictly because they need more than just a paycheck, meaning that job that they're going to on a day-to-day basis. At least for me, I worked 4 or 5 of these jobs before I ended up leaving corporate. None of them gave me any sense of fulfillment or purpose. And funny enough, I never actually even received a promotion at any of my corporate jobs, and it was honestly intentional. I never really wanted one. A promotion to me always just meant more work, not really, you're rewarded with maybe slightly more pay and then way more responsibility for a job that the farther in you get, the harder it is to leave, because they tie you down with a higher salary, in which in turn you trade for maybe a nicer place or a nicer car. And then again, you're still tied to your corporate job, which is where a lot of people fall into the traps of the golden handcuffs, which is the salary, which is the benefits, the 401k. And then they're fear-mongered when they decide, or they tell people they want to leave. What about your benefits? What are you going to do? How are you going to afford this? And to me, it was just like the risk of not quitting felt scarier, right? Like, I'm not going to go trade away all of my time, my entire life, doing something that I don't want to do in return for benefits and a 401k match. To me, that sounded, I don't know, odd, and I felt like an outcast. I was like, why are so many people settling for this? Why did society lead me this way? I for a long time, by the way, this video is not going to preach a victim mentality. There is something you can do about it, but for a long time, I felt like I was a victim to society's trap, and I was, and I think a lot of people are, where it's just like, hey, I'm gonna go to school, get a degree so that you can get a job and be secure. That's the right and smart thing to do. But it didn't feel like the right thing when I was doing it. I was like, I did everything right by society standards, and here I am working a job, and yeah, I have a paycheck. I'm making $80,000 a year, which really is not a lot of money, by the way, especially if you have a family. I'm a single guy, don't know kids, no mortgage, and that was still not a lot. So I think a 6-figure salary isn't even that attractive anymore. But I think ambitious people need to chase something that gives them some sense of purpose, some sense of something to wake up to every morning, some sense of something that's going to get them going. And I never felt that with any of my jobs that I worked in. That made waking up in the morning difficult. It made me not want to get up. I didn't have anything I was chasing or pursuing, because I knew if I showed up and I worked hard, I'd maybe, if I got recognized at all, get rewarded with more work. And I didn't want to get recognized. So I just showed up, I did what I had to do, and I came home and I just repeated the process. And I just felt trapped. I genuinely felt like I was in a rat race that had no end. And I think that's the first reason that ambitious people aren't cut out for corporate, is that they just need more than a paycheck. They need something to chase and pursue that gives them fire, because that fire was leaving the longer that I stayed in these corporate jobs. Also, we just point out how I'm filming in public, how scary this was for me last year, and I'm out here filming. There's people over here, and I'm still filming, because we're just getting out of our comfort zones now, which is something you have to do if you want to escape corporate. It's getting out of your comfort zone and doing something new. So we're working on it. The second reason that I believe ambitious people aren't cut out for a 9-to-5 is that the 9-to-5 punishes ambition. It punishes ambition, where we reward compliance, we reward hard work with just more work. Like I was talking about before, more work doesn't result in more pay all the time, maybe over an extended period of time. It usually just results in more work. When you reward people who work hard and show up every single day with some acknowledgement, not a ton, and more work to do, and hey, yeah, good job, pat on the back, like, go do this since you did this so well. What does that really do for a human being? In my opinion, it makes them more upset, more depressed. It made me more sad. I always thought it was weird how, like, the office politics, I was always the person, I never did my job bad. I did my job right every single time. I did exactly what was asked of me. And it was always the people who were the loudest that got the promotions, the people who were the most like teacher's pet sort of mentality that showed up and got the higher pay and got the bonus and everything. And I was like, that's odd to me, because just because I'm not a loud person means I get punished with more work and no more pay, but the person who's out here being a teacher's pet, and those are the people that always get promoted. It's like kind of a who you know business, which again, that's just kind of how it is in the corporate world, and it's a reason why I wanted out. But I just felt like the system sort of punishes people who are ambitious, who are hard workers, but simply just because of the structure of these corporate jobs and how they operate. The third point I want to make about why a corporate job is not for ambitious people, or really for a lot of people in that sense, is just that they don't have control over their time. And this, to me, out of everything, was the biggest. I hated the fact that I did not have control over my days, where my Monday to Friday from 8 p.m. to 5 p.m., I was trading away for someone else's dream, strictly just so that I could afford to live. And to a lot of people, that's like, yeah, that's just how life is. That's what I was told. Whenever I talked about this openly, people would just say, yep, that's just how it's supposed to be. You got to work to pay the, like, I'm not opposed to hard work. It's more so the fact that I do not think that working 8, which is oftentimes an 8-hour workday, is always usually longer, okay? Because you have to drive there. A lot of companies won't pay for your lunch, right? And so the 8-hour days are really like 10 hours a lot of times, and 10 hours a day, every single day, no human being can focus on one thing productively for that many hours in a day. So I think just the standard work week, this is maybe off topic, I don't know. I just think the standard work week is outdated. We abide by it just because that's how it's been done. I don't personally think that's the best approach when it comes to productivity. I think that people would be fine, society would still flow and operate just fine with a 4 or 5 hour work week. Now that AI is coming into play, who knows, but it's probably going to be even shorter work weeks for a lot of people, and if they have even jobs at all. But the time was the biggest thing for me. I was like, why am I sitting behind a computer screen trading away 8 or 9 hours of my life in return for things I don't really care about? Like, I would rather make less money and have more control of my time. That was my thought process. I was like, I actually would be okay making less and just having the time of day to do things, because I think I could make more if I put my time into me. And I don't know if you've ever thought like that before, but if you've ever wondered, what would happen if I invested all of my time into the things that I'm trying to pursue, my business, my whatever you're trying to do, my goals, right? My music, my art, right? What if I put all the time into the day into myself? Now, not everyone could do that. That takes a amount of discipline where if no one's telling you you have to be there, you have to be the person to show up and do that, which since I quit my job in June, one of the hardest parts is just that no one's waking me up in the morning besides me. It's just pure discipline, right? Especially now that I'm doing $30,000 months, it could be easy to take the foot off the gas pedal. So even if you do end up quitting, I think it is important to stress urgency and stress the time of day so you are productive with your time. But the reason that I say that corporate jobs are not for ambitious people when it comes to time is just, if you don't have full control of your time, your life is not currently yours and you're not free. You're not a free person. And for a lot of people, their entire lives, they're not free, right? They go to school, which again, they're not free. They have to go to school. And then once they're out of school, they have to work to get money. And for a lot of people, if you're not going to start a business, those are really your only 2 options. You're either an entrepreneur and you're making money for yourself, or you're working a job. And so in my opinion, the only way in this world to become free is to get your time, which means you have to be able to make money for yourself, which is exactly why I did TikTok Shop and UGC, and why I started coaching on it and everything, just because I wanted a business of my own, a skill set that I knew would make me money when I wanted to make it, that you can turn off and on, which is inherently important. So if anyone, by the way, if you're not familiar with TikTok Shop, I have a ton of other videos on it. That's exactly what I do. I get a lot of questions all the time. What do you do for work? What do you do for work? TikTok Shop and UGC marketing. I will leave a link in the video if you want to check out further detailed videos on that topic. To pivot off that, another reason why a lot of ambitious people are leaving their 9-to-5 jobs is because of the online opportunities right now. We are in a new generation than 30 years ago or 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago for that matter, with AI coming into play, where there's more opportunities now to make money than ever before. Like, I'm not trying to be dramatic here when I say this, but regular everyday people are making $20,000 or $30,000 a month just getting good at affiliate marketing. And they're doing it on the side of their jobs. I was making $10,000 on the side of my job just because of the opportunities out there. Now, the hard part about this is there's a lot of information, and it could be information overload for a lot of people. We're like, that looks like a good business model, and they go to pursue it. They're like, there's a lot of work here, wow. Any business you pick is going to have more work cut out for it than is advertised from a lot of the people you see online talking about how amazing their business model is. But that doesn't say that there's the one right one or one wrong one. It's just a matter of which one you pick and stick with. And then, yeah, you're going to fail, and that's good. You have to fail. You fail forward, okay? But the only way to get out of corporate, if you're an ambitious person stuck in a corporate job, is you got to find an opportunity that's going to allow you to make money, right? You got to pick a skill set that will return you money. Sales, marketing, AI, content creation, right? Just learning how to go viral organically. That's a massive skill. If you can learn these things, you could make a ton of money for yourself. There's so much opportunity. It's just the trap, like I said, is people, they see so many of these opportunities online, and then they see all these people complaining about how life sucks, and then they get down. My advice for you, if that sounds like you, where you're just spinning your wheels with different things, is put the phone down for a little bit, get off social media, and really think about what you want to do. If it's, I want to get my time back, then that means you got to make money, which means you got to pick one thing and then only study content for that one thing. Okay, so if you want to get into UGC or TikTok shop or content creation or sales or marketing, pick the skill, pick sales, pick marketing, and just go in depth. Learn all about it that you possibly can. But there's a ton of online business opportunities. And because of that, it makes these 9-to-5 jobs look so much less appealing. I mean, like, today's Sunday, I'm filming this at Sunday, and it's only like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've already made like $400 today. And at my corporate job, $400 in a day on a Sunday, impossible. Can't even work on Sunday. So it's like, there's a ton of opportunity out there. You just have to find it, pick it, and stick with it. There is no better time than now to make money online. I promise you this, no better time in history than now. But it's the hardest time in the entire world to be focused on something because we have so much distraction. There's so many people saying so many different things. Listen to your heart, listen to yourself. Ignore anybody who you would not trade lives with. Pick one thing and go all in. That would be my advice. The last and final reason I want to talk about on why a lot of people are thinking about leaving their 9-to-5 jobs or why it's just not as appealing anymore. I think the 9-to-5 world is dying. I think that the corporate structure as we know it is going to change significantly. This is not really even speculation at this point because you can look it up for yourself if you don't believe me, but at least half of white collar jobs are going to be gone in 2 years. With AI coming into play, you have one machine that can literally take the job of 5,000 people and do it better and cheaper. So yeah, it's real. There's a lot of people that are going to be out of work, and not many people are wanting to enter the corporate world. And that the whole reason that corporate was even appealing to a lot of people in the first place is it was security. It was a way that you could live life, and maybe you're not that ambitious of a person, but hey, it pays your house, it pays your car, it provides the things you need for your family. Look, most corporate jobs don't even give you a salary that can pay for regular things nowadays. They don't give you the time, right? And so at that point, really, what's even the point? What are you really working towards? And what's life going to look like in 30 years? What's life going to look like in 2 years? The world's going to look completely different. So with all these new, things emerging in the AI world, and with how the world is moving, how fast technology is advancing, most of these corporate jobs are going to be gone, and it's going to change. I also think that as time goes on, companies and as the younger generation comes in, people are going to start realizing that these 45-hour work weeks and sitting behind a desk looking at a computer is terrible for the mental health of anybody. And for that reason, I think that even if the corporate world, even if AI wasn't a thing, it would change. I think that 4 to 5 hour work weeks are going to start falling into place. And I think that just the structure of the Monday to Friday is going to look a little bit different. And if it doesn't change, then hell, you really got to get out, right? I just think that the corporate world is in fact dying. I think a lot of jobs are going to be going away. And for that reason, you need to be stressing urgency because it's so unpredictable what the future has in store. If you're someone who's literally sitting there, twirling your thumbs thinking, oh, life's going to be fine, and just ignoring the fact that this is real, then you're going to be, I don't know. I don't want to say you're going to be screwed in 2 years, but it's ever likely for a lot of people who are choosing to ignore it. The way that I see it, whether you're a fan of AI or not, it's inevitable, right? Unless there's some sort of regulations in place, not to make this a topic about AI in the workforce, but it's true. right? Most of these corporate jobs, they can be automated. And so I stress the urgency now while there's still a lot of people naive. Literally 90% of the world is naive to the fact that these things are happening or they're not taking any action. My advice would be, don't ignore it. Focus on a skill that's going to return you money, right? I tell everyone this: marketing and sales, they're not going to be replaced by AI. They're going to be replaced by people who know marketing and sales, who know how to integrate it with AI, right? But the first step is learning the psychology of sales and the psychology of marketing, and learning how to find and source opportunities in your day-to-day. If you are someone who is just constantly sitting there and you go to work, you come home and it's just your normal routine, in 2 years, who knows what the world's gonna look like? Who knows if you're gonna have a job at all? So I think if you're an ambitious person and you're feeling stuck, the way to get unstuck is to start looking for opportunities and start pursuing them and start working on them and treating it with urgency, because you're gonna run out of time. That for me, I made the most progress this last year because I treated it with urgency. Like, I was scared of what happened if I didn't work. I was scared of what happened if I just waited around for the world to take over. You have to be in control of everything that you can, okay? Control what you can, control your inputs, focus on your controllable metrics, and you'll be so surprised at how fast you can make progress. If you have the ability to focus, I promise you, you will see faster progress than anyone else. What I want to leave you with is this: if you feel stuck and you're an ambitious person, you feel like there's more to life, there is. You don't have that feeling for no reason, and the more you ignore it, the more it's going to hurt and turn into long-term pain. You can't be trading away that long-term pain for short-term distraction with scrolling and video games and drinking and things that distract you from the fact that if you don't change now, what's your life going to look like in 30 or 40 years? If that thought scares you, good, it should. It should scare you into action. So if you feel stuck and ambitious, the key to getting out is really just to work on something that's going to get you unstuck. If you're overweight, work on going to the gym and eating right. If you're worried about money, work on your side hustle until it becomes the real deal. Work on building skill sets. Start reading more. When people say they're not a reader, I'm like, don't say you're not a reader. Just pick up a book and start reading. And then all of a sudden, wow, look, you're a reader, right? So if you want change, be the change. Start now. Don't wait. Work with urgency. Pick a skill set. Learn it. I went from working a corporate job at square zero, and not even 11 months ago, I hadn't even made my first dollar online. And here we are almost a year later, I'm doing $30,000 a month, having my time to myself, doing pretty much whatever I want. And I'm not saying that to be cocky or arrogant. Again, I don't like the people that do that. I'm just letting you know the reality of how fast it can happen if you actually believe in yourself and you give yourself the full attention you deserve. Anyways, my name is Danny. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment where you are in the journey, and I would love to hear it. And subscribing helps me out a ton. And I'll have a ton of other videos that will help you get to the point that I'm at now if that's something that you want to do. Thank you for watching.